What's next?
Yeah.
Guess you want to talk about She-Hulk? I think was it episode 6 and episode 7.
Episode 6, episode 7, episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's all the exact same. Nothing is happening. There really is no overarching story. There are different, kind of like subtle story beats.
Mm-hmm.
Kinda, but then not really. However, for an episodic show to really survive, and this is supposed to be like an episodic comedy, but it's not funny. It's like the show's not funny enough for what it's doing. Like, I feel like if the writing was better, the jokes would be a bit more creative and would actually land. But it's like, this show is really expensive to make, and it's just not good enough. The product isn't good enough for what it is. Like, you can't have a show this expensive to make and then have it just not be funny enough. I'm sure some people think it's like the most hilarious thing ever, but all 15 of those people aren't going to be enough to get this show greenlit for season 2.
Yeah.
Because
I think as far as She-Hulk, it's kind of like the equivalent of Ghostbusters of 2016.
That thing was a travesty. Like, it just
but
when that came out,
it's like the same thing.
There was so much I guess animosity because it's all girls, but then you see the movie and that shit's garbage. It's like it was nothing. Like, it was bad. Like, bad. And She-Hulk,
Chris Hemsworth was in it.
I don't even remember. I saw the movie and I couldn't even tell you what I saw. It's so forgettable because of how not good it is that it doesn't even occupy mind space. Like, it's just gone. It can't win.
Never iconic or nothing.
But yeah, back to She-Hulk. So, I mean, I get what they're trying to do with it, and it's trying to be different. But I mean, the show's expensive, and which is probably why the runtime is so short, because they can't really afford to have the episodes be an hour long. Because She-Hulk's a lot of money to animate, and also she looks terrible. Like, she just so often doesn't look good. Like, it's such an obvious superimposed CG figure is in there, and that's not great. I feel like that's the least of the show's problem. Like, I can deal with a little bad CG here and there, but just if it was funny. But the show's not funny.
It's like they just need to get to the action more. It's like they're just teasing it. I don't know what they're doing.
No action.
I feel
there's no action.
I think they're trying to be purposely be different and not have any action because they want it to really be a comedy. But the few pieces of action is just garbage. Like, the few little bits of action in the show just aren't good. They're not good enough to stand on. So it's why do it at all when you can't do it well? And then the things that you're supposed to do well, you can't do well. Like, the show is just not funny enough. And, the episodes are okay. Like, episode 7, when they went to visit Emil, I didn't think I would, but I did like seeing kind of how different of a character he is, or he's become. I mean, I guess that's okay, considering how I don't think they ever would have really revisited him beyond She-Hulk, because, I mean, the actor's really old, so he can't really do that much. But having him come back as, this Zen guy with his, not quite a cult, but his, I guess his, retreat and safe space for other people. That's kind of cool to see, but again, this is a comedy, and it's just kind of not funny. I feel like these types of things could occur for a character that's not a superhero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's
like Hawkeye?
Yeah, seeing that in Hawkeye as a brief episode or a piece of an episode, that'd be cool.
They teased Daredevil.
They teased Daredevil 2 episodes ago. And I feel this show relies so
It makes sense because he's a lawyer too, right?
Too. Yeah, but Daredevil was in a good show though. It's this show relies so heavily upon cameos from other characters because none of the original cast for this show is can carry it. You need either already established characters to kind of lift this show up to be something better. Like you had Wong, who kind of appeared twice and he was pretty good. He was really good. And then you had Emil come
Yeah.
in for just kind of his story beats, but it's like you're not learning anything about like the character of She-Hulk or like Jen Walters. You just know that she's kind of a lawyer who seems to be okay at her job. Like you know, she's never done
Yeah.
anything smart. Like as a lawyer, like really smart to have you think,
Yeah.
oh, she really knows what she's doing, or you never really seen her struggle with a case, or like anything. Her biggest issue
Yeah.
is she's just struggling with finding a boyfriend.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
all it
That's
is.
kind of what the
This,
show is. It's just her trying to find a boyfriend, and then every guy she meets is just evil.
yeah, like what's gonna make her mad
Yeah.
enough to turn into Hulk and destroy somebody? Like, what is it gonna take? Because right now in
Being
this,
canceled.
you know how like in Avengers, like in the Avengers movie, which one was it? I think it's the one where Thanos kill everyone, and it started with they opened the portals and things were coming to New York. Remember that?
You talking
And
about
Captain
Infinity
America,
War?
Infinity War, and Iron Man was like walking down to New York City. He just opened up his shirt and had to, remember that?
Mm.
Remember Hulk was there fighting.
Oh yeah, Hulk was
Yeah.
scared.
Well, yeah, Hulk was scared, but like, let's just say something like
They
that
like
happens.
cut Hulk's balls off.
Yeah,
Pretty
but
much
but
in
it's
the new MCU. Just
yeah, but
that man
is
was
She-Hulk
castrated.
ready to fight like that? Like
No, she doesn't
Earth
have.
just gets
She doesn't have
invaded.
any skills. She doesn't have any practical hand-to-hand skills. She has
Yeah,
like
it's
some
like
strength, but it's just if if it's like she's a lower version of Hulk, but then she also doesn't have
yeah,
any experience. But then
yeah. If Samuel Jackson show up, she ain't gonna know what to do.
it's like I feel like she's just like a lower tier version of Hulk, but she doesn't have. Well, the comics
Yeah,
version is like way more developed, but this version of She-Hulk is like nothing. She doesn't have any like experience in hand-to-hand fighting. She just kind of like
yeah.
fumbles her way through anything that goes on. And like the biggest thing she had to fight was like getting, I guess, I don't know, getting dumped or getting like
What's up with her
used.
arch rival? What's the lady name? Jargan? I don't know her name.
Titania,
Titania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that thing is.
Should she be stronger and more
I don't
muscular
even.
or
First of
something?
all,
She
you
didn't
don't even
show.
really know what Titania is. She just kind of
I need to see what she
appears.
looked like in the comics.
All she did
She
was
probably looks crazy
she
in the
appeared in the first
comics.
episode. She just got punched out once, and then she got punched out again later. It's like they're not actually fighting. It's like nothing. It's like why even have this? Like if you're gonna have them battle, have it be in something like really creative. Have them dance battle, or have them just do something like
Yeah.
something unusual because guys aren't really doing it. And this is I think only supposed to be like 9 episodes. I think so.
Yeah.
I really don't see this show continuing because of how expensive it is. Like, I just don't see it surviving because it's just not good enough at what it's doing. And speaking of like awful, uh, Iron Fist. When Iron Fist came out, everybody was like, this one's gonna be trash," and then it was. But somehow it got a second season, but probably because it was cheaper to make. But then
Wait, Iron Fist is show?
Iron Fist, the Netflix show, like it looked terrible when it came
No.
out, and it
Mm-hmm.
was like it was completely awful. And then it somehow got 2 seasons, but sure that was cheaper to make than She-Hulk because just animating a
Yeah,
CG character like
yeah.
in for like long periods of time with just her
On
sitting
a
and blinking.
on a TV show budget.
Yeah, like on like that budget, it just
Yeah.
I don't think the return is there. And speaking of that, it's like, have you guys ever been to like a Reddit or Facebook for any of these She-Hulk episodes or She-Hulk
Oh no, I need
advertisements?
to. Damn, I need
Oh
to.
no.
Oh my God, it's like the worst place.
To
It's like
that.
almost year one of Xbox Live. It's just so bad with people. A person could just say, "I don't like this show," and then people would just like look at whatever the person looks like, and it's like, "Oh, it's because you're a man," or "Oh, it's because
Oh
you hate
wow.
women," or "Oh, because you're like a white man," or "You just don't get it," or "Can you give me 5 reasons of why you don't like this show?" And then someone does, and then they say, "You're putting too much effort into a show you don't like. You need to just stop watching it." It's the most
That's
ridiculous.
funny.
The ridiculous thing is like they're just acting like it's the best thing ever created when it's like if you don't
Like
like
there's
it,
really nah, they gotta be trolling. It's not the
no, it's
show's not
not.
that
I've
serious.
seen it so often for no reason. It's like, why are
You
you guys
enjoy?
picking She-Hulk as like
Nah.
your hill to die on? Like
I was about to say
this
that,
is really
man. I'm about
what
to say, really? You
this is
gonna die on the She-Hulk hill?
like She-Hulk is like really what's going to set women and like the media like ahead of things.
Yeah,
Like
this ain't it.
this is it. I mean, it's not. She-Hulk's not good.
Yeah.
Like I almost want to bet money that it's not getting a second season. Like I just feel so strongly that it's not.
They
But
had a chance too. They could have went up with women rights and equal pay opportunity and all that if they
I,
wanted to, but
they just that's the direction they went in, and they're just not doing a good enough job. It's like I feel like
yeah.
She-Hulk had the potential to be really good, but the jokes just aren't there. Like for an episodic
No.
comedy to just not have funny jokes, like what can you really do with that? I mean, the jokes don't appeal to me. I'm sure maybe to a certain demographic or a certain age group of women, maybe they would like it, but I don't know if
Yeah, really.
they would like it enough
Yeah.
to watch it every single week and to like be like, "Oh, She-Hulk's so great," versus watching a few clips here and there on Facebook and then saying like, "Oh, you guys support She-Hulk," you know. Anecdotally, I feel like that's really it. They're not actually watching it; they're just seeing clips here and there and seeing if it triggers people.
Waiting for it to end.
I don't know. I feel like I ranted on She-Hulk enough, but I mean, I was optimistic on the first episode because I really do like the Hulk,
Yeah.
but like as I feared, the show relies heavily upon cameos of other characters, and the original
Mhm.
cast just can't do it on their own.
And you know, from the last episode, they had someone who seemed supposed to be like a black vampire. You think they'd probably be part of like Blade later on
Ryan,
in
that's
this?
just racist.
He was a black vampire.
I mean, there are lots of
He
black
was a black
vampires that
vampire.
are not related to Blade.
I mean, I'm not saying not related, but probably in that
Not in,
same
first of all,
world.
that vampire looks like the type of vampire that Blade kills within the first 20 seconds of the movie. Like immediately. That's the type of vampire that's like standing outside the club, not knowing Blade's behind them, and then Blade just chops his head off. Also, I've heard that Blade movie, like I just saw like a report like yesterday of like it's not going well. Like the director pulled out.
Oh Lord.
So, and then the script is only supposed to have like maybe two mediocre action scenes. So, sounds like the whole script needs to be rewritten, and they need to find a new director. So, to me, that sounds like it's being pushed back like another year to a year and a half from whatever it was. So,
Yeah.
don't expect that anytime soon, like at all. And Wesley Snipes is just like smiling to himself, like they can't do it without me.
Oh yeah. A She-Hulk. You see the chat, Dreus?
No, I can't see the chat.
No.
Yeah, he that shows the Rotten Tomato score.
Yeah, so
Like
it's like it's so
87.
weird. Like I'm looking at I like randomly see reviews for episodes that I watched and they're giving it like sixes and sevens and eights and nines. I'm like, what the hell are you watching? Like, are you sitting to yourself watching She-Hulk just laughing like
Yeah, I don't
out loud,
understand the
like
Rotten
consistently?
Tomato.
I mean, the
Yeah, it
Rotten
says the audience score is 36% on average.
and people who see that like, oh, it's because people are just review bombing She-Hulk. They don't want women to move ahead in life. They're just trying to like keep women down. I mean, I would give if I had to give this show like a rating, it would probably be like a C minus to like a D.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't give it like an F, but like it would be like a C minus or a D. It's like
Yeah, because
you have like some
yeah,
good ideas, but you're just not executing on them enough to
yeah,
like
because
elevate
even
them.
yeah, because even though it's like because of how bad it is, I'm intrigued, and it's honestly I come back to watch. Like I guess I'm entertained. I just like this is bad. I want to see where they're going, and
We're just hate watching it.
because there's shows that are like boring. Like there's people that watch the new Lord of the Rings show, and they just said it was not pulling them in. They just stopped watching the new Lord of the
Yeah,
Rings show.
She-Hulk is
Yeah,
shortish.
yeah, it's quick.
I was like, yeah, it does. It
And then
does
you get
kind of
little
go out
goodies like
quickly.
cameos, like
Yeah.
you said.
Yeah. So like it has some value there, but again, the show is much too expensive to be not as good as it is.
Yeah. Well.